Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast, Raw Rundown, where we give you the top 10 stories of the week. My name is Adam Glyn. Not there. Dax Holt is away this week. He's in Vegas. But lucky for me, I have my buddy, my pal. He's the man. My buddy Garrett Vogel over there. Garrett, how are you, sir?
Adam, this is weird because I listened to the podcast, I watched the clips online, and now to be here, it's like a little surreal moment. So
Garrett,
I appreciate the offer.
you are such a great actor. I appreciate that. I'm actually excited to have Garrett because he is a DJ. He's a host. Garrett is a regular on the Elvis Duran show. You've seen him on E! News. He does it all. He's on a bunch of other radio stations, but Garrett hosts red carpets for all the movie premieres. You just did the Tom Cruise movie premiere.
Oh yeah, no, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. I'm sure you've run into Tom Cruise before, right?
I've never interviewed Tom Cruise, but I've seen him. And when you see him, are you like me? Because there is Garrett. All right, let me start with this. I've seen a lot of celebrities. There's not too many people in my network that have done what I've done as far as meeting celebrities, except you. So you've met a ton of people. With
Yes.
that said, when you're around Tom Cruise, is there a presence? Is there an energy? Do you find them to be like, oh, there's celebrities, and then there's like Hollywood stars?
You understand why they say he's like one of the last Hollywood stars, like action movie stars. He's got this presence at him like no other, and you can understand why. All those stories we've heard about all the people that have fallen in love with him or he's in love with, you understand why. Because he has this way where he just looks you right in the eye, even if he's talking to you for 4 seconds or if he's talking to you for 2 hours. He'll look you straight in the eye. He won't look anywhere else. And you'll feel like you're almost being sucked into Tom Cruise and you feel like he's actually interested in whatever you're saying. And I can only imagine, you saw the photos of him talking to the people working at the movie theater at the premiere who were handing out popcorn. Guaranteed they feel like $1 billion after Tom Cruise left them. He might not remember their names specifically, but they will remember that till the day they die, that Tom Cruise sat there and chatted with them as he ate popcorn.
And it's weird because when you see him, he's not a big guy. He's a small guy. So you think a lot of times with people that type of energy they bring to a room are usually kind of bigger type people. And there's only 2 people I've actually had that with, to be honest with you. I've seen a lot of people. There's some people that have that charisma, and it's the hardest thing to explain. You just have to be around it to understand it. But there's only 2 people that I've known to really have that. One is Tom Cruise, obviously Oprah. But I'm thinking that's I don't even consider Oprah. But the other person for me and someone you've been around a long time for years is Miley Cyrus. Do you find Miley Cyrus?
Miley too. And you know what? Miley, I think out of the 3 that you just mentioned, seems to be the closest to normal people, us people type. You know what I mean? So I think she can relate to in that level. And that's all it takes. You got to find that little niche, that little thing that you could hold on to whoever you're meeting, and not just celebrities. If you're meeting a stranger for the first time, you're meeting a business partner, you're meeting a boss, you're meeting someone you're being interviewed with, as long as you find that little thing you can connect with, it'll go so much further. And I think that's what Miley and Oprah and Tom Cruise find. It's not easy. It's very hard because some people can, as you know, can be very boring. And for them to sit there and feel like they're engaged in conversation with you, I mean, it's priceless. It's almost like a superpower.
Yeah. Now, again, I did a story with the New York Post this week, and let me know if it's true. Well, I don't know if you can, because you have a very good relationship with the studios. But with the Mission Impossible movie, in order to interview Tom, you had to send in a bio of yourself, a headshot of yourself. And then from what I've heard, you also had to see the movie. Tom Cruise wanted to make sure that you saw the movie. Can you confirm, deny? Can you comment on that?
Well, I know you have to see the movie in order to talk to him. I don't know about the other stuff, but I can definitely 100% confirm that no matter what, because if you have the ability or opportunity to interview Tom Cruise on a carpet or a junket per se, he wants to make sure that you're not just BSing him. Because let's be honest, sometimes we get these invites, hey, let's go see the movie, then interview them, but they don't. The people even in the movie normally know that they're not going to talk about the movie. Tom only really wants to talk about the movie. And it's one of those things that, he knows you're putting in the time. He's going to give you back time. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's going to give you that extra oomph of a clip or a soundbite or just
That's
something that
cool.
he hasn't given anybody else, knowing that you sat there and hopefully enjoyed the film, but not only just enjoyed it, but watched it and had some interesting questions. Because at the end of the day, and I've learned this with Tom, he loves film. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like his thing. Like no matter what, we all have that one thing. For him, it's film. Whether the shot, the writing, the storytelling, just the dynamic, the stunts. As long as you can be engaging with that with Tom and show that you're actually interested, he will give you as much time as you want. He showed up 3 hours for his own red carpet. The carpet
Wow.
didn't really start until 6. He shows up at 4 o'clock. And you know why? Because he wants to literally take a selfie with everybody that's there, which is another power move, a smart move. Then he gave every outlet like almost 15, 20 minutes to just chit chat on a carpet. And you know what carpets are
Yeah.
like, Adam.
Sure.
You don't get 20 minutes with anybody.
Sure.
You might get 20 minutes with everybody on the carpet, but you specifically got almost 20 minutes with Tom Cruise.
That is pretty cool. And so you saw the movie. It's a long movie, correct? And is it
Yes.
good?
Oh, it is very good. It is, and it's interesting too because I think a story came out. I forget where, but they kind of ranked all the Rotten Tomatoes of Mission Impossibles, all 8 of them, and his score just continually goes up. So I think like the first one like got like a 60 or 70 or something like that, and that was the first one, almost 25 plus years ago. This one is definitely in the mid 90s, I would say. It's there. Yes, is it a little long, but it kind of pays off, with the action sequences, knowing the fact that Tom Cruise is doing all that stuff and not just a stunt double. It does pay off.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good cherry on top in the Mission Impossible franchise. Does it leave the door open down the road? You could argue, yes, but I think it might be the final one.
I, I've made this. I spoke about this recently, and I'm guilty of this. You can make fun of me if you want, but I've never seen a Mission Impossible movie. However, I miss movies so much going to a movie theater that I actually want to go see Mission Impossible because like Tom Cruise is so into like the filmmaking, which I
Right.
respect. So I think it'd be kind of cool to see a Mission Impossible movie in the place where you should see it, which is a theater. So yeah, I'm excited for this movie. Before we get to the world rundown, Garrett, you've been on radio for a long time. You've met everyone,
Yes,
especially when
sir.
you work with Elvis Duran. So if you don't know Elvis Duran, it's it's the modern day. I don't know. I
It's
don't know.
pop culture.
It's
It's
pop
not
culture, but it's
Howard's.
a staple. It's a
Yeah.
staple for every single pop act, from One Direction to Katy Perry. When you have something to promote, you have to stop at Elvis Duran. So you've had everyone walk through your door. Who's your top 3 people? Like obviously people know my people. It's like a Shaq and those type of people.
Right.
But who's your top 3 guys that like when they walk in the room, you love those people and they love you back? Like they're your people.
Ed Sheeran, number one, probably. Ed Sheeran, again, just like Tom Cruise, engaging as all hell. He'll stop down, like he'll tell his people to chill for a minute, and he'll just talk to you, like you like go do something. I'll catch up. Don't worry. And he'll sit there and he'll talk. He like when he wrote his last album about his friend that passed away, he wrote a song about it. And I too lost a friend. We sat there and we just talked about each other's friends. That's it. And then on the side, he's getting a guy to create a dick statue for Stephen Colbert that he promised. You know what I mean? So like he's almost like as normal as can be, but yet could sell out a stadium in a drop of a hat. Ed Sheeran for me, it's a personal one. Justin Timberlake, given the headlines of the news would say otherwise, but again, a guy that would literally walk over to me and say, "Hey, I know you came out last night. You had to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I appreciate you coming. Late night show, or thanks for coming to that event." He goes, "You good? How's your family?" Like it's almost weird in the sense, And the last one I would say, another personal favorite. I kind of thank my wife for getting me into just her in general. Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson is another normal being, given the fact that she is a ultra superstar musician, singer, TV personality. She will again, she has this thing, and I start to like use that when I go into conversation. Kelly will walk into a room and point out everything positive about you before you even get to say hello. She'll walk in, Adam, did you just get a haircut? Even
I
though you might
did,
have
dude.
not.
I
You,
did. I just got a haircut, dude. Thank you.
yeah, see, like you know what I mean. You feel that much better, like hearing stuff like that, and then it kind of like lets that guard down, like walking into an interview, knowing that it's like, all right, cool. There's no like eggshells to walk around.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, I'm actually surprised by Justin Timberlake because from my experiences, he's definitely not one of the worst by any means. But from my experiences, and we've met, obviously, me and you have met them in different type of
Right.
experiences. You know, I'm meeting him on the street. You're meeting him at like an event or where
Yeah,
you're supposed to
I
meet
kind
them.
of have like a safe zone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you, on the other hand, it's a little bit different. And you're not coming from a mean place, but they're coming. It's almost hard to distinguish who's
correct.
good versus evil. And what I think once you get to know them, like your relationships with Shaq and Oprah, they know, and Guy Fieri, they know you're a good person and you're not out to screw someone over. But I get it. I understand. It's not easy what you do.
Can you tell me the one person that you're like, you're on the fence about?
Oh, well, no,
Like you just don't really click. It's just like yin and yang. It's just not really your person.
um,
One person.
one person. I mean, he's so irrelevant at this point. But well, it's more like I just don't like him. Tayo Cruz was one. Um,
Which one?
Usher,
Who is it?
Tayo Cruz.
Tayo Cruz.
Tayo Cruz. Usher has seemed to gotten better. Usher was always kind of like on that fence for me because
Yeah.
he would speak in the third person up until like, he kind of reached that plateau of, Super Bowl and all that. But before that, he would just, Usher doesn't like this, or Usher's gonna go away. Like that third person speak kind of throws you off. But again, that was maybe about 10 years ago. I haven't seen him since, but I've known that he is kind of reached another level from where he was 10 years ago. So, maybe he has changed.
Yeah. No, Usher. I've never been around Usher a lot. I wish I was around him more or got to like see him more often. I met him a few times. I wouldn't even say met him. I've seen him. I've seen
Right.
him around a few times. Nothing memorable though. And but I've seen videos of him being cool, but to like paparazzi. But I also don't think paparazzi are either chasing him. But he's someone who I'd be interested in kind of talking to. I like Usher, but again,
And
I
I
don't.
think a lot has changed. Like I said, over the 10 years, he's been through a hell of a lot. He's also reached plateaus that he probably didn't even imagine 10 years ago. So I think he's definitely has changed, and he's definitely older and more mature than he was 10 plus years ago. So
Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. Well, Garrett Vogel is here with me. Dax is away right now. He's just in Vegas, living, I think he's probably gambling or something like that. But
is he
Dax
giving
is,
people trophies?
he's giving people trophies. He's got some business conference or something like that going on in
The trophy
Vegas.
conference?
Yeah, he's doing some, I don't know, it's licensing. I don't understand that world. Like that whole world is like, it's a foreign language to me. I just know
I
stupid
only watch
celebrity
Shark
pop
Tank.
culture.
I
Yeah,
watch Shark Tank, and that's it.
yeah, and Dax is part of a Shark Tank product, so he does well. Make sure you follow Garrett at GarrettVo on Instagram. Garrett Vo, GarrettTTVO on Instagram.
Thank you, friend.
Garrett's a fun follow. You kind of see because he works hard. He's everywhere. The guy hosts a lot of stuff. We see he's around as many celebrities as I am, and he's a good guy. All right, today is our Raw Rundown where we give you the top 10 stories of the week. How do we pick the top 10 stories of the week? It goes by Google search, it goes by data, and lastly, it goes by our personal opinions. But ultimately, it comes down to the data, what people are clicking on. If you go to any single entertainment news site and any other real news site, they have screens to see what stories are doing well, and they kind of throw gas on the stories that are doing well.
Right.
So obviously, this week, I'll be honest with you, it was a very slow week. I talked to one outlet, and they're like, "Yeah, like if you have any stories, throw them our way. Like we need content. Like we're struggling." And I'll be honest with you, all the entertainment sites out there are kind of
But
really
isn't like that
struggling.
right around summertime though? Like we're given that there's two or three big news stories, but for the most part, everybody's kind of just like winding down for the summer.
Yeah, I mean it's like weird. The entertainment industry takes off between them from December to January. They kind of take off a little bit. So
Right.
it's hard to work, especially news during that time. But somehow I pulled through and got you the top 10 stories of the week. Let's start with number
Appreciate it.
10. Brooks Nader, who Gary, you don't know, she won our Thirstiest Celeb of the Year award back in 2024.
Was she on
Well,
the pod to accept?
she actually commented on social media saying she wanted the actual award. She commented on the video, the clip. But she, she's very good at somehow keeping her name out there. She's a model. She was on Dance with the Stars. Actually, she was on Dance with the Stars, and she started dating her dancer, which is not uncommon. Gleb Savchenko is the guy's name. Gleb.
Good pronunciation.
I'm better than Dax. Dax is terrible at it. But the model opened up about her love life during an interview with the Sports Illustrated swimsuit party, saying that she is very single, but she obviously knows what's going to get clicked. She goes, I'm open to whatever, but I'm not looking for any kind of partner now. I'm freshly single. But she did say when it talked about her next relationship, she goes, I don't even know, honestly. Maybe it's a Mr. Maybe it's a Mrs. I don't even know. Who knows?
She's going the JoJo Siwa route.
She's totally doing that route. She goes, my sister keeps telling me I've got to switch teams. She's over me with guys. And of course, you say that you're one of the most beautiful girls out there, that you might go into women. Of course, you know it's going to make news. She's obviously trying to make news because her and her sisters got a new show coming out. It's like a Hulu docuseries called Love Thy Nader. Somehow I'm not mad at it. I just see everything she does. Like,
yeah, you know it's not genuine. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as genuine as it might be. Like, it actually might be, but given the facts that she went on a reality dancing show, started dating her partner, which became bigger headlines than the show itself at one point. And now this, it's kind of hard to distinguish that, like, how true are you being with yourself, or us, or just in general, or are you just using us to just click on a story to keep your name, afloat above water?
Yeah, I'm not mad. It's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. It's more of like, for me, it's not like I don't care. I don't have beef with it. I don't have an issue with it. If I was her rep, if I was on her team, let's try to figure out a different strategy, because it's so premeditated for me. Like, I could call it out everything in advance. Somehow there's a secret clip of her backstage of her kissing her co-star, which, hey, I guess they're dating. Somehow there's a secret video that goes out. Then she's doing setup shots on the street with her nipples out, pretty much in an outfit. And then she's doing setup shot, so it's just like, I just hope they would just just come out with a different strategy. That's all it is.
Right.
And but also I'm happy for it, because it is hard in this business to kind of transition and make it out. And for models especially, I think some of those models have issues trying to kind of take their career to the next level and become something more than a model. So I think it's pretty cool that she's like, I mean, not pretty cool. It's like, hey, I respect the hustle.
It's a matter where she goes from here. Like, so she's got the reality show. Who hasn't had one at this point, except for you and I?
Yeah.
So it's like, where do you transition after the reality show? We watched the Kardashians do it, and I think they kind of set that standard for everybody. So everybody kind of wants to copy it, but where do you go? What business do you start? What thing do you change people's lives with what you create outside of just quote unquote entertainment?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Now, there was a story, I forget which company. I don't want to say the company because I don't want to get it wrong, but apparently she was sort of seeing the CEO of a big company, a company like an Airbnb. And they were like pretty much hooking up a little bit, and she was like putting it out there like, hey, I'm seeing the guy, and the guy's like, no, I'm not. So it was like, I don't know if the story went public because it was just so weird, but like she was trying to get the story and he didn't. But anyway, she's trying to keep, she's trying to stay hot, and I get it. She's trying to keep that window going. All right, number 9.
I'm hanging out with the guy at the Chinese food restaurant over in Westfield. So
yeah. I gotta find a good spot around there. Number 9, Jeremy Renner. Actor Jeremy Renner is opening up about the powerful wave of feelings he experienced after regaining consciousness following his near-death snowplow accident in January 2023. I was always curious, like, how did that accident happen? Well,
right.
On January 1st, it was New Year's Day. He was run over by it's almost 15,000 pounds snowplow while attempting to prevent it from hitting his nephew near his home in Reno, Nevada. The accident occurred after the Renner exited the snowcat without engaging the parking brake or disengaging the steel tracks, leading the vehicle to roll forward and drag him underneath. Which is
Final Destination right there.
Yeah, that is nuts. But he suffered 38 broken bones, a collapsed lung, a pierced liver, and a significant chest trauma. He underwent multiple surgeries and spent over 2 weeks hospitalized. During his recovery, Jeremy also utilized hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which he describes as a staple in his rehabilitation process. I remember when this story first came out, I read the story. It's like, how did he get ran over by a snowplow? But sort of makes sense that it was his snowplow. The whole thing was sort of a weird story to read. But he did the Kelly Ripa's podcast, because everyone needs a podcast like Kelly Ripa. So he was on Kelly Ripa's podcast, and he said during the conversation, he recalled the near-death experience when he broke all the bones in his body. He said, "It's a great relief, is all I could say. It's a wonderful relief to be removed from your body." He
Like he
said,
felt like he died. Like he felt death right there.
"Yeah,
Like he almost like we see in the movies, like his body like lifted up, and he felt that peace. He said, and until they revived him, which you know. How can you be mad at the people that brought you back to life? You know what I mean? Like, I guess it's one of those things I don't want to experience to say like to know what it feels like, but it's weird. Like people are. I guess he didn't want to be around at that point. He was hurt so bad. I don't know.
yeah, no," and that's exactly what he said. He goes, "I didn't want to come back. I remember, and I was brought back, and I was so pissed off because I guess he's in so much pain that it's almost like becomes numb, and it's an out of body experience." And so I actually, when he said those lines in those quotes in the interview, I was like, I kind of understand what he means, because it is a sort of exhilarating thing, which he said. He's promoting a book right now that it's called My Next Breath, which is about his experience and a little bit about his life. Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand. It was a very powerful line to hear him say that, but it's one thing I kind of like. I was like, oh, I get it. Like,
Yeah,
no more pain, and
yeah. But it's still weird to think like if we're ever faced in a situation like that, you want to keep on going. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
so, I can't even imagine his mindset in that time frame of like, all right, I'm good. Just let me go. See you later.
yeah.
In the situation that it was, and all you see is your nephew. You're not around family, and weird one to think about.
What the weird part for me is with these celebrity books is how none of them actually write the book. And
Right.
I want to read these books, but I know that you didn't write the book. Um, it just kind of
That's
grosses
what
me
you
out
get
a
a
lot.
ghostwriter for.
Yeah,
They get paid well.
yeah. I wonder if people are like, not saying he did, but guys like Jimmy Fallon or like those guys who write children's books where the book is legit like 12 lines, if they're even getting ghostwriters for that, because it's just those books are nothing. I think
You want
those
to think that they wrote the 12-line kids book,
exactly. Number 8, Chris Brown was granted bail on Wednesday by a London court after he was charged with serious assault, clearing the way for his world tour to begin next month. Chris Brown has been charged with inflicting bodily harm in what prosecutors said was an unprovoked attack on music producer Abraham Dior with a tequila bottle in a London nightclub in 2023. The Chris Brown's 36 has not been asked to enter a plea to he's not been asked to enter a plea to the charge. He wasn't present at the court, but the judge granted him bail. So Chris was also arrested at a hotel in northern England last week after returning to Britain for the first time since the incident 2 years ago. So this incident wasn't recent. This was 2 years ago,
Right.
but he got arrested for it. He posted bail, which he was granted bail, which I don't know the court system out in the UK. But he has like a big concert coming up, so he's going to be able to kind of do his show. He's doing this Breezy Bowl that starts in the UK, and Chris Brown somehow always, when we think he's on the straight path to being okay, somehow he just
He
falls,
taps
takes
into
two
those
steps
cat's
back.
9 lives right there. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just two steps back, and he's the guy is so talented, and stupid stuff like this. It's like, man, you're just getting in your own way. Uh, Garrett, before like at the end of the year last year, we had predictions, and my prediction that was Chris Brown was going to have an ultimate comeback year. Because if you see like the videos of him performing his
right.
concerts, it's incredible. His dancing's unbelievable. His
And
backup
he's playing
dancers are good.
stadiums. He's not just playing like arenas. He's
Oh yeah,
playing stadiums.
he's doing really well, but you don't really hear much about him because he's got this resume, obviously, of just these bad incidents from Rihanna to other, incidents with Karrueche Tran, where she had to put a restraining order against him. That kind of, he's got this aura to him that brands and maybe major media outlets don't want to give him exposure or help him. So
Well,
it's
I think he's kind of set the bar for himself, given the Rihanna situation. But as we know, Rihanna has moved on, and yeah, as should we. But it's hard for the court of public opinion to kind of change their minds once that is the bar that you set for yourself. And then from there, you throw the chair out the window at Good Morning America. You get into numerous trouble time after time, and it's just like, we only got so much space in our lives to give to people, right? So it's like, how much space can we give to Chris Brown? If his music's on, I'll listen to it, but am I gonna keep up and make sure he's doing good? Not really. I got other things to worry about.
Yeah. Chris Brown, I don't understand this that much, but Chris was required to surrender his passport except for when he's traveling for his tours. So I think they just need to know where
A
he
work
is at
visa,
all
maybe.
times. Yeah, I think they just need to know where he is at all times. In
Which
fact,
is so funny though. It's like you see like a story on the other side though, Adam, like Jelly Roll. Like he went through things before he was famous, and he has a record, and that record, it has been holding him back from traveling with Post Malone overseas. He just got the okay and his slate wiped clean for him to go travel to the UK. But on the other hand, Chris Brown's in the UK causing a muck, and yet he could still work there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like, good lawyers, I guess, right?
I guess so. I don't understand how this world works, especially with the UK court system. So, number seven, they are making a movie about John Madden. John Madden was a legendary NFL broadcaster, NFL coach. This movie seems pretty cool. Nicolas Cage is going to be playing John Madden. Christian Bale's in the movie as Raiders owner Al Davis. It was also announced that comedian Shane Gillis is going to be in this movie this week. It's directed by David O. Russell. So this is a huge movie, but there's claims, some pretty unique claims that's going on this past week. According to TMZ, a supporting actor in the upcoming Madden film quit on Friday, just 2 weeks into production, allegedly over the use of the N-word and full frontal nudity. But sources close to Amazon Studios tell us the allegations are being twisted. Crew and cast members told us that on Friday, Russell was working with the unnamed actor on an impromptu monologue when the director allegedly said the N-word, and that upset the actor, along with others who allegedly walked off set before their lunch break and wrapped for the day. Studio sources also tell TMZ it was actually the actor's idea to include the N-word in the scene after a private creative conversation with the director. But ultimately, the word was not used when they shot the scene. The sources stand firm. David did not say the word while shooting the scene, but declined to speculate what upset the actor and others in the moment. The same actor apparently had issues with the nude scene. However, the studios say that an intimacy coordinator tried to make the actor more comfortable and suggested different blocking, but the actor still had an issue, which is when David calmly said he didn't have to be in the shot. The studio stressed that nudity was not sprung on anyone. Everyone knew well in advance that parts would be on display. So, yeah,
Just the words John Madden and nudity don't go together.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
like you want to think it's like a locker room scene, maybe, but who knows? But
yeah.
like, you just hope it wasn't Nicolas Cage dressed as in, has to be some type of fat suit for John Madden, and But I guess time will tell when we'll see what that scene's all about for that.
Yeah.
Um,
The,
but
the,
but I kind of understand like where John Madden was as a coach. Like the use of the N word was probably rampant amongst the sidelines in the NFL. Like
the biggest
so.
time, yeah.
It's I guess it's all about how the story is being told on the screen and developing it off screen. But you can't use the excuse. Well, it's just for the movie. That's my one issue with it. It's like, don't use the movie as an excuse if it wasn't anything pertaining to the movie.
Yeah, it's weird because obviously you want to make the movie. David O. Russell's a great director and wants to make the
Right.
movie so as realistic as possible. Really, again, he's a film guy. He's trying to make a film. But nowadays, this story of everything is great. If anybody wants to be an intimacy coordinator on a film set, we've heard about this position, which I never knew this was a job until what
It's a
happened with.
new job. It's a new
Yeah,
job. Like it's not like you're going to find someone with a 10-year resume of that on there.
yeah, I first learned about the intimacy coordinator position from the Baldoni Blake Lively lawsuit, and now we're hearing about it again with this John Madden movie. So now this is going to be a hot position where people are going to be applying for this job somehow in every single way and shape because it seems like a good cake
Well,
job.
I know how to set the scene.
Yeah.
Like,
So, but again, they're saying that this nudity in the movie was, hey, this is not a surprise. We didn't just spring this upon you.
right.
And again,
It's a sports movie. Like you're gonna have there's gonna
there's
be
locker
some.
rooms.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a touchy subject. I understand that. However, I feel like as an actor, you also have to be like, personally, it's like if you're signing up for this position, there's stuff that you might have to do that might make you feel uncomfortable, but it's also it might make you uncomfortable. But if you're playing the role, that role might not feel uncomfortable. So it's like that's part of the film. So I don't know. I think actors need to kind of
Well, you know,
get
to
their shit
like
together, grow up.
I
Like
mean,
this is the job.
well, yeah, exactly. But I think situations like you're going to talk about in a little bit with Blake and Justin Baldoni and Harvey Weinstein, they kind of ruined it for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so everybody is beyond cautious on every front possible. Where it's like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to cause a stir. I don't want to get sued. Like, so you really have to just be like tiptoe around everything, especially when it comes to filmmaking.
Yeah, I get it. I guess that's why the intimacy coordinator position is just a hot position, but to kind of be very honest and open with the crew. I don't know which actor it was, but also
Time will tell. We'll find out.
yeah,
We'll find out.
we'll find out. Number 6, Brittany Furlan. I met her before. Very pretty girl. I saw her at the Motley Crue premiere. Anyway, it was in LA. And got
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to a premiere. She's a comedian. She's the wife of Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee. Publicly addressed marital difficulties in an online deception incident. So she is married to Tommy Lee. We found out now that they're separated and she's been living in a hotel. Well, in a TikTok video, she revealed that she had been catfished by someone impersonating Falling in Reverse frontman Ronnie Radke. The impersonator engaged her in a flirtatious conversations, which she later disclosed to Lee. The revelations led to tensions between Lee and Radke, with Lee confronting Radke, who denied any involvement and accused Furlan of spreading false narratives. Amid the controversy, Furlan mentioned that she is currently staying in a hotel, like I said, and experienced a challenging period in her marriage. She expressed frustration over the public nature of the situation and urged Radke to cease discussing the matter publicly.
How
She's also been
weird.
saying that, yeah, it's very weird. She's been saying that I'm not the best. Basically, what she's saying is like, and I respect her for putting out a video and kind of getting in front of the story and kind of I think being honest. I hope her being honest. But she was saying that they were having problems in the marriage due to Tommy's drinking, that they became separated. And maybe it was while they're married too, but she somehow, I don't know, this part gets a little weird to me. She started following, or maybe he DM'd her on Snapchat, and they started to have these flirtatious conversations back and forth where she started to have a emotional relationship with this guy that she thought was the frontman of this band, and it was just some stranger, some random dude. And then Ronnie Radke, who is the real guy, is like, "Hey, I'm not even on Snapchat. I have nothing to do with this." And now he's got Tommy Lee who wants to beat the shit out of him, and the guy can't. Tommy Lee's a big dude, and he's crazy. But he's like, "Dude, I got nothing to do with this." The FBI is apparently getting involved now, which I don't know why the FBI should get involved, but I guess maybe because the guy's impersonating him.
Yeah,
But
impersonating.
other than that, I think she's just saying like, listen, what she admitted what she did was not right, but there's a lot going on in her life that she just is trying to figure out.
Yeah, I think there's like a similar movie like that. Adrian Grenier. It was like on Netflix where someone was impersonating him online
Yeah, dude, I
with.
forgot that movie. Oh my god, it's gonna get. I forgot. That's such a random
But
movie.
it's very similar to that actual catfishing story where
Yeah,
people fell in love and but it turns out in the movie, spoiler alert, it wasn't him, but he ended up like getting murdered over the situation. Like, so it's just so weird. Like, you're in a band, you think you would mention something before, I don't know, like you think you would run into people face to face and not just rely on social media or TikTok or whatever to kind of to bring this to light. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, if this is what broke the band, there's more issues in the band.
yeah, for sure. Number 5, it wouldn't be a Raw rundown without a Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni story.
Oh, we're still talking about them.
It's not going. We got another year of this, pretty much.
We got another 2
Yeah,
years, please.
we got a lot of time going on. Can we just end this already? It's now getting the weird part. Well, Blake Lively is taking aim at the producers and legal team of It Ends With Us amid her high-profile legal battle with director co-star Justin Baldoni. On Monday, her lawyers had filed a motion seeking sanctions in the form of attorney's fees against all plaintiffs, including attorneys for Baldoni, accusing their team, Baldoni's team, just saying that like they're basically just trying to make a mockery of this court case, from what I understand.
Right.
That's really what it is. I mean,
It's been a mockery of this court case. You know what I mean? Since day one, it's been a mockery.
Yeah. So Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Freeman, made a suggestion that he would take Miss Lively, Blake Lively's deposition at Madison Square Garden, charge tickets for admission to attend, and live stream the testimony for the world to watch. Lively's team condemned the ghoulish taunt, adding that federal courts are venues for the adjudication, whatever that word is, of justice.
No, you got it.
Not playgrounds for retribution or public relations. I mean, yeah, that's what he's doing. He's getting people excited and making this into a real story. And
it feels like an ambulance chaser type lawyer thing to do. You know what I mean? Like you're not actually going to be able to do that at Madison Square Garden, especially if there's like concerts going on. Like they're not gonna, oh, we got Blake Lively. Like they would never go for that. Like he is doing exactly what we fall for online. He is just putting the clickbait out there just to draw more attention and muddy the waters. I'm not a fan of the guy. Like I personally, given the fact that the story, they both seem like they didn't have their stuff together. They didn't get along. The way that his lawyer is going about things is just ridiculous.
Yeah, they're doing too much to win the public opinion. And I get it, because I think that's
more muddy in the water. So if they do go to court, it's like just like the Diddy situation. How do you not know what you're up against? Yeah. You know what I mean? You know everything about them at this point.
But also, if I'm on Baldoni's side or part of that team, I also understand it as well. As much as I don't like it, I understand him for doing that, saying we have nothing to hide. Let's bring the whole public in. Let's put it all out there. So I understand if it is strategy, and I do understand the strategy, but. Again, this is just a real quick story of Baldoni versus Lively that people are clicking on, and they're just Lively's team is saying, "Listen, just stop with this public nonsense, which you're just trying to make everything into a media playground for all these cases." I don't know, stupid stuff.
It's stupid.
Number 4, Megan Fox. She just had her 4th baby. She's 30 years old.
Only 4?
Only 4th baby, and two guys. So. She was with Brian Austin Green. Now she's with Machine Gun Kelly, which she's not really with. Anyway, she did a post on social media. 38 years old. 6 weeks pregnant, unplanned, but a happy surprise. Please stop listening to that patriarchy. Women are eternal light beings. We do not have an expiration date. Do not let them rob you of your power. Anyway, watch Overcompensating. So it's her first post since her 4th baby. She's on this new show called Overcompensating with Benny Skinner is the guy's name. Benito Skinner, social media star, now turned actor. The show actually looks like a good premise and a good show. I did try to interview him this week. He was a total dick to me.
Go figure.
Oh, no, dude, the guy, I actually asked him like such softball.
All you have to do is just... Yeah, answer like you just said, a softball question. It goes so much further than just like, nah, I'm good.
The publicist was a dick. He was a dick, and I have no problem saying, I was like, dude, this is so unnecessary. Like, I asked you about the show, about like Charlie XCX being involved with your show, and I do think the guy is talented. I actually think the premise of the show looks cool. I think the way the show is shot looks cool, but he was a total dick. Anyway, Megan Kelly is on the show. She actually, which is crazy that she kind of went on the show and did it. Also, Charlie X is, I think, a producer, but she might be scoring the show, if I'm not wrong. But it was her first post since her 4th.
We're gonna travel, Adam.
Yeah,
we're traveling. Please. I gotta move as we do this.
Totally fine, my friend. I'm totally cool with it. So Megan Fox, she has a baby. She's has a baby with Machine Gun Kelly, who's 35. I forgot, because there's been so much back and forth with them. They're co-parenting. They were engaged. They're no longer engaged. But she's the mom of 2 people. She's moms of 3 with Brian Austin Green. and then she became the fourth Machine Gun Kelly. But Machine Gun Kelly apparently stays with her from time to time because they are trying to have like a working relationship for his mom. Which read a story that Machine Gun Kelly, he's got another daughter. She's older too. She's old. I mean, not too old.
Well, she was the one with the tattoos, right? Like to get him to cover up the tattoos.
Yeah, she apparently like he would fly like every week to go to her volleyball games. I read this some story, which is like, man, that's a good dad. And not saying you would not expect it from Machine Gun Kelly, but it was like cool to hear like this guy is still so into being involved parent and also made sure his touring was around like his daughter's volleyball games. And again, I just
Right.
read that. I don't know if it's true, but if it is true,
You want to
pretty
think
cool.
that though.
Met him once before. Nice guy. You met Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah, no, when he had that song with Camila Cabello, like he came out around there because mostly like his hip hop, not so much. When he had his punk rock era,
Yeah.
we saw him a lot. Ran into him a bunch on Staten Island because he's friends with Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he seems as normal as can be for the crowd that he hangs out with. But yeah, I think he wants to be normal, but it's like at one point it's like, how can I be normal when I look like this? Because people assume like they already think they know who you are,
Yeah, yeah. And she's actually been, I've met Megan Fox before. Very nice too. Very pretty. Very nice though. All right, number 3. This story kind of makes me feel for celebs because it's an interesting story, but like it's one of those stories where I just see when the celebrities read this story and it's getting so much press, they're probably like, but Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck's eldest daughter, Violet Affleck, she's 19, wrote an academic research paper in the Yale University's Global Health Review where she detailed an argument she had with her mom over the destructive Los Angeles wildfires earlier this year. She wrote, I spent the January fires in Los Angeles arguing with my mother in a hotel room. I'm going to say that line again because I'm not Dax and I suck at this. But I spent the January fires in Los Angeles arguing with my mother in a hotel room, Violet wrote. Garner, according to Violet, was shell-shocked, astonished at the scale of destruction in the neighborhood where she raised myself and my siblings. I was surprised at her surprise. As a lifelong Angelina and climate-literate member of Generation Z, my question has not been whether the Palisades were burned, but when. So it's just, she's very vocal, which I respect. And listen, Violet's not wrong for this. And what she says,
Right.
like, I don't disagree with her, but
optic wise, no. Like if you're a publicist, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just giving your parents' publicist a lot more work because I can understand now Jennifer Garner, Ben Affleck, like, because it's not the first time she's kind of been outspoken about stuff that made some news. She spoke in front of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors years ago and made a plea for mask mandates in LA hospitals. But she's smart. I mean, she's a freshman at Yale, and she's been outspoken about public health and went to write that she had an uncommon opinion about the fires compared to the other wealthy Pacific Palisade residents. Which,
I mean, this is what college is all about. You kind of question the law, and she just happens to be doing it on a very grand stage.
Yeah.
How much? I mean, I don't see any Ben Affleck when I see her. You know what I mean? I see all Jennifer Garner. You know, like Jennifer Garner's genes have overcompensated Ben Affleck's genes in their daughter.
Yeah, it's again, if I was a celebrity, like I would just be like, if I was, how do you have this? How do you supposed to have a conversation with your daughter when she makes good points? However, it's like, hey, I'm a public figure. Maybe it's not the best thing to say or bring me involved. However, maybe
give your opinion, but just don't say we're arguing. We're having this discussion
or disagreement where my mom didn't understand it. So
right.
But I also understand her side because I can see Jennifer Garner supporting her daughter with this. So,
well, yeah, that too. But remember all the conversations you've had with your parents growing up, especially when you're, were 18, 19, 20 years old and your parents were like, I just don't, I don't see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, I, even though you might feel like you're passionate and you're clear on it, but they just don't get it because it's a different, that age gap where it's like, you want to understand, but you can't. And so I understand Jennifer Garner's side of it. I understand Violet's side of it. But at the end of the day, it is, especially if you're the publicist for the family.
Yeah. Number 2, don't be surprised if you're driving the highway soon and you see need a lawyer, call Kim Kardashian.
Imagine.
Oh, that'd be great. Because Kim Kardashian is officially a lawyer. Kim Kardashian has graduated her law program after 6 years. Finally, she graduated from her 4-year law office study program on May 21st in what appeared to be a backyard ceremony, which is weird. The story says it took her after 6 years. I guess maybe she announced she wanted to do it in 6 years, but
She took the test several times. We know that,
yeah,
like, and as we've seen on the show. So, it's interesting to see where and she's done well too. She's done good while trying to graduate. And hopefully she continues that, and she's not just using it to, because I think she's going to be in some type of show or movie where she plays a lawyer. So hopefully it wasn't one of those like getting into the mindset. But hopefully she does change. She does good with the new law degree that she has, and helps prisoners that have been wrongfully in prison to get out earlier and change some lives like that.
yeah,
That's what I at least hope. What will happen, who knows?
yeah. Um, you're supposed to graduate law school in 4 years, but due to
Right.
COVID and everything like that, it took her 6 years to kind of earn her degree. She had a small backyard graduation with her closest friends and family to celebrate. She said, "I finally
By the way,
graduated."
small graduation, Adam. Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, to them, it might have been small. Like to us, it was probably like a baseline of like $5 million party. Like, which is nothing.
Yeah. Apparently, I guess she dedicated 18 hours a week, 48 weeks a year for 6 straight years. That's a total of 5,184 hours of legal study. That's time she's carved out while raising 4 children, running businesses, filming television shows, and showing up in courtrooms to advocate for others. They'd also
And dealing with Kanye.
yeah, and deal with Kanye during all of
Like
this.
like that's a degree within itself.
Yeah. Very cool. I mean, listen, I don't know how you feel about this, but Garrett, but I always said Kim deserves her flowers. I don't think people give Kim enough respect to her name for what she's done to Hollywood, changed the industry, business mogul, and again, very smart, and also being, from my experiences, very, very nice. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think she has been able to make a name for herself outside of how we learned about her from the many years ago. And it's I think a lot of people, when they hear the name, it just automatically just, I think there's a little bit more jealousy than people lead on to, like they're jealous that someone can be that successful, have that much money, and do those things. And most want that lifestyle but will never achieve it, and they're just upset that they have to see it constantly, from TV to social media to now a law office.
Yeah, she's been very outspoken about helping people, obviously, with getting out of prison. Rather than attending law school, Kim, who never graduated college, followed a path only California and 3 other U.S. states offered to qualify for the bar by apprenticing with a practicing lawyer or judge. In 2018, Kim began an apprenticeship with a law firm in San Francisco. Then in 2021, she took that baby bar, also known as the first year law students examination, and opened up about the difficult experience after passing on her 4th try.
Not easy. I have friends take this test, and they said it's probably one of the hardest things that they have ever had to take in their schooling careers. So for Kim, to at least admit, and we know Kardashians want to be perfect, so for her to say like, "Hey, this is my 4th time," like, I think that's the most real she has been in a very long time with the
But yeah,
public.
I totally agree. For her to announce like, "Hey, I failed a few times," I think it's kind of cool, and to do that, because it is very, it's not uncommon to fail, and actually, it's very kind of hopeful for people to kind of keep going after it. Kim's father, obviously, if you don't know, was Robert Kardashian, who served as part of OJ Simpson's team, but was a very huge lawyer in the lawyer world in LA. She really, again, wants to work towards criminal justice reform and help people commute their prison sentence.
How weird would it be, full circle, if Kim has that position now, and she's the one that gets the Menendez brothers out of prison?
I think she's the one who got the ball rolling, and then obviously came that TV show. But
Right. And the fact that her dad was there in the early stages of that, and now to come full circle, she's the one to help him get out of prison.
yeah, all right. The number one story of the week.
What is it? I don't know.
It's It goes to David Hasselhoff is going on tour again. No, it goes.
It's about time.
P. Diddy obviously is the number one tour is the number one story of the week. It's kind of a lot to kind of cover everything that happens because every day there's so much and there's so many news stories because there's no cameras in the courtroom that your algorithm, the news stories, they keep just basically there's like 3 stories between lunch and then after lunch there's another 3 stories about what kind of broke down in the room. So we'll kind of get into what came out this week regarding Diddy. The one thing we found out is what kind of gigolo he likes, male prostitute. We saw the photos of all the
It's
male
just so funny.
prostitutes he likes. A lot of the prostitutes, I wouldn't say a lot of them, but a few of them were on the Showtime show called Gigolos. So you saw the photos of the guys he was paying to have sex with Cassie. So that was kind of interesting. We also heard from his assistants this week. His former executive assistant, George Kaplan, provided detailed accounts of the demanding and unconventional tasks he performed, including booking hotel rooms under aliases, cleaning up substances, and procuring drugs like MDMA. Kaplan also describes Combs' freak-off parties, noting that he was responsible for preparing the rooms with specific items and removing evidence afterwards. So yeah,
Would you sign up for that job? Like not knowing, you sign up thinking you're just going to be an assistant for this hip hop guy, and then you learn about all this stuff. Like, how do you get out at that point?
I don't know how you get out of it, but I can easily see myself falling for that.
Right.
Because you want to be into it so much that you wind up doing stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable. And I think that's what Diddy's team is really trying to really show. Like, hey, yeah, Diddy was very involved in the swinger community and swinger lifestyle, but he didn't do anything wrong or illegal. However, there was more photos of Cassie's body showing evidence of physical abuse. Now, you can show that, hey, I've had physical abuse and say Diddy did it. Fortunately for her, there is video proof that Diddy has gotten physical with her in the past. Also, there has been Cassie's former best friend has said that she also has heard or seen that that Diddy has gotten physical or heard the threats from him. Danity Kane singer, one of whatever that girl's name is,
Dawn Richards.
Dawn Richards was on. She was testifying this week for Diddy, saying that she heard threats from him. However, she never saw him doing anything. She never saw him doing anything. She never saw guns, and she never saw him physically abuse someone or something.
I mean, credit to his lawyers, though, because it's one of those things. You put it out into the public, it's out there. And then the lawyers go, but did you ever see him with a gun? And then she has to say, no, she heard that he had a gun, but never saw him with a gun. And same thing, I heard that he hit her, and they ask, well, did you see him hit her? And she has to say no because she never saw it. She just was around enough people that were talking about it that she was the one that stepped up to say something. But the other interesting thing, though, Adam, I was thinking about all these people that are coming forward, right? We know that Diddy personally didn't affect them, with the exception of Cassie, that we know, allegedly. But someone else could have done these things to these people. How are they not scared of those people coming back to do something to them? You know what I mean? I don't know what it was a thought I had where it was like, they have to be super confident, courageous, brave to say, you know what? I know that it wasn't him. He paid someone else to do something to affect my life. Why won't those people who knows? That's the interesting I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I think what we saw also this week was the photos of the raids, and everyone know, what did I find? Well, obviously, what we do know is they found a lot of baby oil, but they found drugs. They found the freak off supplies, and what do you say? What are freak off supplies? A lot of baby oil. They found a lot of sex toys. There was electronic devices, but those were all kind of taken in for more investigation. Right. But they found loaded firearms. So I don't know what goes on when they raid your house and find all that stuff, because I think they're looking for other things. But when they find that, it's like, hey, well, you're busted for that. Kid Cudi is also testifying as we speak, because as we record this, the case is going on. Kid Cudi says Diddy broke into his Los Angeles home. He's saying this as he's testifying, but Kid Cudi says Diddy broke into his Los Angeles home after finding out he was dating Cassie, and he says Diddy screwed with his dog. The rapper took the stand Thursday morning in Diddy's federal criminal trial in New York City, told the jury about some of the drama that unfolded between him and Diddy and Cassie back in 2011, when she was on a break from Diddy and they started dating. Kid Cudi testified that there was a break-in at his home in December 2011 after Cassie called him early in the morning and told him Diddy found out about them. He says cops were called too. And Cudi says that Cassie was stressed, worried, nervous, and scared when she called around 5:30 or 6 a.m. to tell him Diddy knew that they were seeing each other. And he says she told him that she'd given his address to Diddy and didn't know what Diddy would do. Kid Cudi also says that Cassie told him to come pick her up, and they went to Sunset Marquis Hotel in West Hollywood. Cudi also says that he was with Cassie, and they got a call from Diddy's employee, Capricorn Clark, who told them Diddy was inside Kid Cudi's house. Cudi said Clark told him that she was waiting in a car outside the house while Diddy was inside. Kid Cudi testified that he called Diddy and planned to confront Diddy at his home, telling Diddy, "Mother effer, you in my house?" He said Diddy calmly told him, "What's up? I just want to talk to you." Cudi says he told Diddy he was on his way home, but when he got there, no one was there, though he says he soon discovered his security cameras were not working and they had been moved without his knowledge. When Kid Cudi went inside, he testified some gifts he received from one from sorry, I'm going to say this one over. When Kid Cudi went inside, he testified some gifts he received, including one from Chanel he had been opened, and his dog, who usually roamed around the house freely, was locked up in the bathroom. He also said the dog came out jittering on the edge in the wake of the break-in. He said Cudi said he called Diddy again and wanted to go looking for him to fight him, but he says ultimately he decided to call the cops. Cudi says he spent Christmas 2011 with Cassie and her family in Connecticut, and that Diddy called him a few times. Cudi says he told Diddy, "You broke into my house and you messed with my dog. I don't want to talk to you." Wow. Just a lot.
Like we're only on like day like 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this, we thought Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case was going to be like, this is turning out to be a bigger onion than that.
It's just, there's so much. There's like, yeah, it's like, you just lose your breath talking about it. Diddy also said he testified, Cudi testified about the infamous car firebombing, and he says he knows that Diddy had something to do with it, even though Diddy denied it to his face during a meeting where Diddy came off like a Marvel supervillain. But he says, yeah, he wasn't at home. He got a call from his dog's babysitter informing that his car was on fire, and he swears that he thinks that Diddy had something to do with it. He did what they call the cocktail, a Molotov cocktail, where it's like the bottle fire and you throw them
right
in. So, yeah, I mean, my personal thing so far that's going on, Diddy is not looking good. I don't think he's going to be charged for everything they found him for, but he's got to go away. I mean,
that's the one thing.
It's a very uphill battle.
A few lawyer friends of mine are asking and they're all asking the same question. I didn't like get everybody together and we're like, what are your thoughts? But as I'm talking to them, it seems like the lawyers are going after the abuse charges more than the RICO charges, but the RICO charges are the ones that can really put them away. But they haven't even, or maybe they haven't even approached that yet because there's so many layers to it. Yeah. They're saying that the assault case, given he would serve time, but not as much as proving the RICO cases that are against him. So, and maybe they haven't finalized, all their evidence against him on that. But it's like, and then when does Diddy decide to go, all right, time to break glass in case of emergency, and then start throwing everybody's name under the bus?
That's true. Garrett Vogel, thank you for hanging out with me, buddy. Garrett Vo on Instagram, GarrettVo on Instagram. Give him a follow. I love Garrett. You might have heard him on Elvis Duran. Thank you for taking the time to help me out today, bud, while Dax is sitting gambling on the roulette table. Hopefully he's made $4 because he likes to go to Old Vegas where like it's $2 hands rather than like the new.
Him and the blue hair ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, hope you like that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.